Can we get your best efforts? Nice. Nice. Amazing. We'll call you.
Call me.
Hi everyone, my name is Damien Haas. You may know my voice as Laios from Delicious in Dungeon, or Kyokakudo from My Happy Marriage, or the YouTube channel Smosh, or other voice acting roles. Today I am joined by 3 professional voice actors. Voice actors, could you maybe introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
I like you come from the YouTube world and voice world, and we make videos and cartoons. I play Blitz with the silent O on a hell of a boss.
Hi, I'm Shelby Young. I'm a voice actor. I don't know how to speak though. I am most known, I think, for my work in the Star Wars galaxy. I voiced Lego Princess Leia and a bunch of other very fun characters throughout that whole world.
I am the 4th YouTube/voice actor person in this room. Do a bunch of voice impressions as BrizzyVoices on YouTube and do voiceover for a bunch of video games like Guilty Gear Strive as Abba and Viola and Bayonetta 3.
Well, y'all, today we're going to be talking about some assumptions, and starting us off, last week's episode, we had the cast of Dropout TV here, and they had an assumption for y'all that screaming scenes are incredibly painful and difficult.
No, I mean, they go on for hours and hours.
Yeah.
But they usually don't.
They don't. And also, with the union, they can't. Like, I think we're capped at 2 hours now for any, hardcore
strenuous
efforts and strenuous screamings.
I scream as long as I want. And it hurts sometimes. It does hurt sometimes. The projects I've done have been nice enough to save the screaming scenes to the end of the show.
Yes,
I'm sure most,
exactly.
You don't want to walk in the studio and then, all right, now's the scene where you're being unalived hard. You want to be able to ease into it. That's why all of my whisper scenes come first.
But isn't whispering just as strenuous on the vocal cords?
Sometimes. I also have never had a whispering scene, so I don't know what that's like.
Isn't it funny the things that happen that you say when a camera's on you?
Yes.
No, but same. They usually save all the screams for last because it can affect your voice. I've had that happen before. There are apparently, there's a correct way to yell. Mm-hmm. I think I found it sometimes, but other times I'm like, that hurt. I don't know. So their assumption is maybe.
So our next assumption is that it is awkward to have to do scenes alone, especially when it comes to grunting and groaning and all that good stuff.
No, it's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the best. I love working off of an actor is the best, but it's nice to not have people watching you.
Yeah.
I don't mind. They can watch. It's so funny because I've said this before, but no matter what effort you are doing, and once it's actually put into the project and something's animated around it, it matches. But when you were in there, it sounds like you're struggling in the restroom. That is just always, no matter what. So it's. I don't know. I like doing efforts and groans and grunts. I think they're funny.
Me too.
They're fun, I guess. Sometimes they'll have a camera person in the booth filming you, and I ask for them to sometimes look away because it's just, if you think about it, you're just like 2 grown men in a booth and one of you's going, ugh. And I usually wear very few clothings.
Okay.
So it's just the whole I wear very little in the booth. And so
Say more.
when I'm doing sexual noises, or if I'm just, my character's getting f***ed, it's weird when someone's just right there with the camera watching me, that is kind of strange. So I will say, look at that bottle over there.
So
I've had seductive lines, but I've never had a sex scene.
Yeah.
In all fairness, my character is a top, so it's not like I'm not it's like those sounds, not like
You're not receiving.
different kind of sounds.
fair. Can we get your best efforts?
We need a context.
Yeah, what are we
need a
doing?
situation.
Be our director.
I'll give you 2 different things.
Okay.
All right, you are in a situation where a giant robot, you're under attack, and the roof has just been ripped off, and you have a big rock, and you're gonna throw it at them. And after you throw it at them, some debris falls down, and you need to duck under something. So a big throw, and you're ducking under something.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. Nice. Amazing. We'll call you.
Call me. You call me what?
Yeah, right. If you're familiar with on-camera auditions, I would now be eating spaghetti out of the stained Tupperware.
You're like, yeah, good job. We'll call you. You'll hear from us.
Some people have assumed that maybe voice actors hate their own voice, and that's why they play characters so much.
If I hated my own voice, why would I talk to myself so much?
And there it is.
Heard it straight from the source. No, I don't like my voice on my answering machine, so I got rid of that. Other than that, I don't mind it.
I've never recorded an answering machine.
It stresses me out more than any audition and any job I've ever done. I don't know why. It's like, hey, you've reached Shelby. Oh, that sounded terrible. Hi. Nope, now I'm not happy enough. Hey, it's
Just do it as Siri.
Hello.
Well, I mean, we're there. Shelby, you're known for, the Siri voice. That's cool. How did you learn that you could do that?
It was during a looping session where it was for this show and they needed a Siri voice, and all of the women took turns going up to just kind of try it out, and I'd never attempted it before. And I just went up and I was like, hi, thank you for calling. And I was like, oh, it kind of sounded a little robotic. That's cool. And then I worked on it for a long time, started making TikTok videos doing it. That blew up. And then it just became part of my calling card, I guess. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hell
I love
yeah.
that you have.
Thank you.
I love that you basically have a demo now of all your
That's what
virtual assistant voices, because you do so many.
Yeah, thank you. No, social media also has just been great for that, because I almost feel like, and not that was I'm sure we'll get more into that, but I feel like anytime you get to put out something that maybe someone didn't know that you can do, it's like its own little mini demo you're putting out into the world. Yeah.
Totally.
But I feel like, back to the topic, I guess, if you are a voice actor and you hate your own voice, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, you gotta learn to love it.
So I don't recommend it if you're not willing to work on that and work past it and listen to yourself all the time.
So a lot of people would assume that voice actors are all broke. How do we feel about that?
Oh, that's the way you asked it. That was so funny. No, I mean, it totally depends. Obviously, it's a freelance job, so it depends on the amount of work you're getting and how consistent that work is, and if you're doing any conventions on the side, or if you're teaching classes, or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, voice actors are hard to lump into a group of people and assume that they're all. How do you compare the voice of Dr. Robotnik to the voice of Princess Peach to whatever I do to whatever? It's like there's different amounts of work for different types of voices.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So it's like, are voice actors broke? I don't know. The ones with voices that aren't in demand probably are, and the ones that are in voices are in high demand are. And it changes, it seems like, every 10 years. And so I know broke voice actors, and I know loaded ones, and I know the two in the same shows. And so it's like, it's hard to put a answer on that. I can say union and non-union, I think that the top tier kind of job is the one that propels you furthest into pop culture, because then you're getting invited to cons, you're getting in people, you're popping up on other things that you have to then go do more voice work for. I think having a character that's in high demand is something that I would and usually those are union roles. And I have to say, I've only ever done 2 voice acting roles in my life. I'm a voice, but they're roles I hold very dear to my heart.
Yeah, I mean, your characters are obviously very popular. You had said on your prep call that after your first con, they didn't need to pay you for a hell of a boss.
After my first con, I was like, I'll just do the show for free.
Wow.
That's wild. See, I don't know the convention space at all. I haven't gotten into that yet. So from my perspective of what I've seen with non-union and union, yes, you start non-union and the pay scale is a lot lower than the union pay scale, but that doesn't mean the project is lesser than, because a lot of anime is non-union, and sometimes those characters are the ones that will make you the most money at a convention because those are such popular characters. But then union is where you're working on more of the network shows and the shows that will have celebrity voices on them sometimes, or the AAA video games are all union. Like, that's the difference, I guess, is the size of the project.
And
oftentimes.
you're promised certain protections.
Right, you have
whereas
protection.
Non-union, it's
Wild West.
You never know what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Read your contracts.
Yeah. And I don't know the non-union space well. I've been acting since I was a kid, so it's just hearsay of what my peers have told me.
Amazing.
I had to go to TanaCon, and I almost died.
What do you mean you had to go to TanaCon?
Well, I said yes.
Second location, I'm down.
Yeah, and we had security got overrun, and a cop told me to grab onto his collar and he said, whatever you do, don't let go. And we ran through a crowd of angry teens and their moms, because it was like 100 degrees that day, and there was no air conditioning, and everyone was paying to essentially sweat and be mad. But I don't get that at Comic-Con. At Comic-Con, suck our parts, and we're all happily taken care of.
Brandon, they're not supposed to do that. That's not part of it at all. That's.
And TanaCon, they had us locked in a penthouse suite with a couple cops and a bunch of YouTubers who aren't here anymore, and you could guess who. But
I'm learning so much.
You guys turned to voice acting because you couldn't make it as, and I'm going to finger quotes here, real actors.
Zoom in on those finger quotes.
well, you could zoom in on this. You're right.
Oh, I thought you were about to flip people off.
I know.
Well, I can do both.
Let's zoom in right here.
No, yeah.
Expand on that.
I got into this. I moved to this fucking place for this. To be to be a star, and then they said, you know what, you got a face for voice work, and now everyone's like, you're a voice actor, and let alone the past 15 years of just being a regular one. But I will say that the stigma of like voice acting being better or worse than acting, or the stigma of voice acting being sub to acting, you know.
On camera acting.
On camera acting. There we go.
Real good artistic acting.
I'm still baby in voice acting. I used to think it was less. I did used to think that like, oh, well, it's a sub-tier version of on-screen, on-camera acting. But no, actually, it's when I started to become respected as an actor, is when I started doing voice acting, and people, you know, I was invited to less VidCons and more Comic-Cons, if you know what I mean. And I could say that I think I'm done with VidCon, well, anyway, I'm done. Anyway, that's all. They don't pay. Anyway, I'm done. They don't. I was doing it for free for so many years. Anyway, voice acting is not that world. Voice acting, and they have cheese at every green room. There's always been. You have to admit, I've seen you in some of those green rooms.
You know what? You and I tend to like end up next to each other at a lot of cons, and some of those green rooms, they're pretty tasty. And it's not always the biggest spread of food, but it's just like, it's so cool to have something here. Thanks for the chips. Thanks for the coffee.
The London one was kind of weird food.
I had never been to the UK before. Everyone gives London crap about their food. I thought it was delicious.
I thought it was delicious, but it was weird. They have sandwiches with shrimp and mayo. Just that. Just the shrimp and mayo.
I mean, sounds good to me.
It's good, but it's weird.
They call them ocean bugs.
Do they really?
They call them French smashers.
They call them curly pinks.
Curly pink.
Curly pinks.
I disagree with this assumption. I started in the on-camera space, and I worked as a kid, a child actor, up until my 20s doing on-camera work, and I did a little bit of voiceover here and there. But I do agree with the fact that when I was little, I thought of voiceover as the side job. Like, I didn't understand that this could be your full career, because I had so much fun going into the booth and doing a silly voice, but I was like, well, I guess I gotta go back to trying to be on camera. But I fell so in love with it after I did a mocap project in, 2017, 2018, I forget when I did this. But once I was in the booth, you're not worrying about a camera, you're not worrying about how you look or your makeup or your hair, or your lighting. I loved it so much, and then I just started to see such a difference between the audition opportunities I was getting for on-camera work versus voiceover work, and I felt so much more alive doing voiceover because I was able to, in the morning I'm a French poodle, and in the evening I'm this badass warrior princess saving people in a forest. Like, I got to play, and I just felt like I got to actually act. And that's what made me put on camera on the back burner. Not to say I'll never go back to it, who knows? But it is definitely real acting, and it, for me, wasn't something where it was like, well, I'm not making it, so I'm turning to this. It was like, this took me away from on camera because I found it more fulfilling.
So now, do you guys have to worry about like crazy fan interactions? Do you get a lot of crap from fans about characters? How's that been for you? I
thankfully have not had like someone being too crazy specifically at me. I've seen people just say some weird things about work I've been in.
We also haven't been going to the convention.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been some things.
Well, yeah, Big D. I have had some crazy fan interactions. I had 5 different people faint in front of me.
Whoa.
3 of which were this last week.
You do give off noxious fumes. Sorry, what's up?
I've never seen a human faint.
You know what's crazy is it's a little bit, it's like a look of, oh my God, it's happening. And it's a look of, oh no, everyone's looking. It's like embarrassment and panic. It's really scary because you're seeing this person, and it's always right when they get to the front of the line. And it's like there's nothing you can do other than like get help over as quick as possible. But I've had people follow. I've had the people try to follow. Like, conventions are scary because if the hotel is right next to it, they can go to your room with you if you're not careful. I don't know. I mean, no one. Thank God, it's been such a loving, we have such a loving fan base, and I'm so grateful that no one's weird they're all weird, but I'm glad that it's not scary weird.
Cons are great, like meeting people and, connecting on stuff that you've worked on and that has been meaningful to them is like 80% of the reason why I do it. It's so fun, and until that part of me burns out, but I have had a couple moments that have made me uncomfortable. Like, most cons are great, but sometimes security is a little bit lax and you don't know how to get someone's attention. So I've had people sort of hang around the table for a little bit too long, like even off to the side, where I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a thing. And they sort of keep coming back. And, afterwards I was just like, oh, I think this person might be actually drunk. And then afterwards they're like asking me if I want to go get a drink. And I'm like, oh, that's actually not what this is even a little bit. But can I call someone for you? That's always hard when you can't get help for something like that. But 99% of people are like, awesome. Yeah.
I've had that sort of thing from the YouTube side of things, but not voiceover, which is interesting because YouTube on camera. Right. And I think there's something about seeing the person and them talking as themselves that like creates a bigger parasociality than most voiceover roles, I think, would.
So some people would assume that voice acting in video games is easier than voice acting in even traditional media, like a cartoon or an animated movie.
They'd be wrong. No, again, it totally just comes down to what the role is, because there are some animated shows that are more grounded and have really intense emotional moments. And then there are some shows where it's all just about the comedy and the lightness. And then same with video games. You might be working on a video game that's an intense, you're killing zombies and you're fighting for your life and you just lost your best friend and all that. Or you're a bug. That's a snack on an island.
Oh, talking about bug snacks.
Yeah.
Do you ever play your own games?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
totally.
I always wondered that. I don't do video game stuff, and I always wondered you got to play your own stuff.
I love video games.
You hear all your efforts.
Well, it's so funny because when I did on camera, I would cringe watching myself, but doing voiceover, I want to hear. I'm like, this is so cool. This is so cool. My voice is coming out of that. Yes.
If I'm ever in a video game, Mr. Nintendo.
Steven Nintendo.
Yeah, he's probably dead.
God bless him, keep him.
I think video games can be logistically more difficult than animation because often you have way less context. Often you just have your lines. Often you just have efforts without a scene attached to them, and it's way less linear and natural often.
That's
Animation,
true.
I think, more often is like, here's the whole scene, here's what everyone else is saying.
Yeah, and even with auditions, oftentimes for video games, there's so much more under wraps and confidential, and you have no idea what you're auditioning for. Yeah. But with animation, you know what you're reading on.
Yeah, isn't that fast? Why are they more secretive about video games than animation?
Well, they've changed that for at least being in the booth, because I remember I was Teenage Master Chief in Halo: The Fall of Reach, but I didn't know that until I was in the booth. They're like, "You've ever played Halo?" I'm like, "You booked me for the role." Like, thank God, yes.
Yeah.
But like, they were like, "Okay, great, you're that guy," and I'm like, "Okay." So like,
it's wild. No, I still have projects that I've done that I don't know what they were, and they were smaller parts, obviously, but it's all code named, and it was before whatever the ruling was with the last SAG strike, where we now have to be told what we're in.
Right.
So I don't know what some of those code names were.
The assumption is YouTubers have a hard time breaking into the traditional voice acting industry.
Ooh.
I think YouTubers have a hard time breaking into any industry. I'm not going to lie. I think there was a good time right around Smosh movie era that they were letting YouTubers do whatever they wanted. And the IMDb ratings will beg to differ and say, nope, don't trust YouTubers. So, I'm just speaking for myself. I feel like the fact that I got into voice acting after being known for doing YouTube videos is a miracle, because not very many people take that step. And it's a step I've been trying to take for like 15 years. And so, what's your experience with it?
It definitely helped me get my first agent, and my first like non-union jobs when I was baby voice actor. But as far as like a real working professional, I don't think it's really had an impact. And it's hard to tell whether or not, if a casting director is casting and they get your audition and they Google your name, if they see YouTuber, are they like,
Yeah, I think mine has
don't
hurt
know.
me. Do you think yours has hurt you too?
I don't know.
I think that the YouTuber isn't like a shiny thing like it used to be. When they see that you're a YouTuber and they'll...
And on-camera followers, huge impact.
Yeah.
How many followers you have for on-camera acting is a huge deal. A voiceover, maybe it's starting to get that way a little bit, but it's really
less.
not
Yeah.
in comparison.
I had been acting before I started YouTube and TikTok and all of that, so I'd already been in it, so I can't answer the exact assumption. I've had instances, though, where I do know that my TikTok, some videos I put out have helped me get roles. Like, I voiced an old woman in this project, and I'd worked with this director before, but he brought me in because he was like, I saw you do this on TikTok, and I had no idea you could do this voice. And I was like, oh, great. So I think it can be beneficial in that way, but I don't necessarily know that you need a YouTube. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
I always feel like I get the assumption that it's the other way around. People's like perception of you kind of starts when you exist in their world. So like now I've got some projects that maybe have entered their bubble and they're like, oh, I love that you started doing voice acting. Did Smosh help you get that? And I'm like, ooh, no, but that's okay. Like, you know.
I'll show you Starstruck.
So some people might assume that you are only able to voice act because you are internet famous.
Wrong.
Okay.
I wish I had a little, like, what's it called, a gavel? Yeah. Wrong. Guilty. I totally feel like, because I get comments often too, where it's like, I remember I watched you when you posted your first video, and now you're a real voice actor. And I'm like, well, it's the other way around, but thanks for the support, regardless.
I think the biggest impact as far as being a YouTuber is more about what is the content of that YouTube. Brandon, I don't know about you and Disney. Good luck.
I know about me and Disney. He told me to fuck off.
But if you're just being an earnest, good person online and maybe trying to get yourself out there, I think most people are not going to look poorly upon you for that.
Next assumption, anyone can do a voice, but the acting part is the most important part.
Yay!
Bingo.
Got it!
They did it.
Right, that time.
What 95% of people that I know do is start to create a character.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this character and he's gonna talk like this. It's backwards.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
Story first.
Yeah.
Then you know why, and that's what I'm saying. When you know why you say what you say, then you're informed and you're free to play.
Well, I think we can all agree that is incorrect.
Correct. Next assumption.
Great.
No, voice acting is acting. That's what Richard Horvitz said. If y'all watch the show, you would know this.
Yeah, ain't you never heard of Invader Zim, Richard Horvitz?
Yeah.
Angry
Richard
Beavers?
Horvitz with a capital W.
Wow.
He would appreciate that.
I was about to say, does he love that joke?
You know what? My brother made up a joke in front of Richard, and Richard still uses it to this day. And my brother is so proud. He says, "Get a viral load of this guy."
Oh my God.
Wow.
And now Richard Horvitz says that at all times.
That's crazy.
I love
Anyways, yes, he said that voice. He always says every panel we do together that voice acting is not about doing a funny voice, about doing a silly voice, but it's about being an actor, having those characters' thoughts and feelings, and doing it from here.
I've had a lot of people sort of come up and be like, I want to be a voice actor. I can do this voice. Like a lot of people say, like, I can do Stitch, or I can do
Peter Griffin.
Like Peter Griffin. And that's great. But what I want to tell them in that moment that it is more about the acting than like doing the voice.
Yeah.
If you are ever confronted with those kind of questions, how do you gently tell someone without seeming like you're shutting down?
I would say if you can do Stitch's voice, can you recite Shakespeare as Stitch?
That's great. I love that.
Because if you could just do the voice, but if what you're saying, you don't know what you're saying, and none of it makes sense how you're saying it, it's not going to mean anything. It's not going to hit people in the same way. It's not going to have a story. You're just going to be a goofy goofball goofing.
Are people ever surprised by your real voice?
Who says this is my real voice?
I do get people questioning all the time, what if this isn't even her real voice?
You're a deep bass.
This whole time, you've been holding it back.
I'm actually Irish.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Been holding it in all these years.
No, I don't think I've really run into that outside of people questioning if my voice is really my voice or not.
People do that, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I don't think you were joking either.
No.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
that's-
wow.
Yeah, because people will be like, but wait, you're a voice actor. How do we know this isn't just an act? And it's like, because that would be exhausting. If every video I'm pretending to not be me.
People assume that family members ask you to do voices for them.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, thank God, no.
Do
Yes.
the Siri.
Yeah, my dad. I love him so much. Sorry, Dad, I'm calling you out. But like, it's not like on the regular that my grandma calls and she's like, Shelby, do this one this time. I
Can you do a stitch?
don't know. Or Hannah.
That's good. Goodbye. Quick.
That's the last time I heard from her. Kidding. She's alive. She's fine.
She's just mad at me. It's chill.
When I was a kid, my dad used to say, "Oh, we'll do this voice," and we'd be in the middle of like a restaurant. I'm not going to do a Scottish sailor in the middle of an Applebee's and be like, well, if you want to be an actor, actors could just do it.
Oh my God.
Wow. Putting you through it.
That just made me real mad. Like you're
You
actually
would always say,
mad.
well, you want to be an actor, actors can just do it, and they just turn it on. I'm like, Dad, I don't know how to do that accent. Well, actors know how to do any voice, any accent. You want to be an actor, you can't even do this voice.
It's true. When I got my actor card, I instantly knew how to do every accent in the world.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
download skills into you. It's crazy.
Do you go to Applebee's now and just start screaming as Scottish sailor?
I only go as a Scot, and I dress up.
We gotta go to Applebee's.
Yes, only from the waist up though, because it's a table up experience at Applebee's.
yeah.
How are you supposed to have bottomless mimosas if you're wearing pants?
There you go.
Hey, I'm a bottomless guy.
So a lot of people would assume that genetics might play a role in your potential success in terms of how your voice sort of naturally sounds and sits.
Some people are blessed with insane voices just naturally, like
Yeah.
the most insane natural baritone, and people are just like, you need to get into voiceover.
Totally.
But that's just like a little extra tool in their toolbox to get started with. They still have to do all the work.
Right. It's like there's tall people and there's basketball players. You know, it's like being tall certainly helps, but like
Absolutely.
Sure.
Can you play a
that's
ball?
but can you play? Right? And then you got
do you
the,
game?
the dribble pizzazz, as I like. That's what they call it. And that's what they call it in the biz.
The old Steph Curry pizzazz.
Yeah, the ball pass Peru. Yeah, I know all that. I used to play. I know.
I can tell.
Were you front center, back left? What do you play?
I top. And also, I think if you go about your day, I think the average person will eventually come across someone each day where you're like, I'm glad I don't have that voice.
It could be worse.
I used to hate my voice, but then I learned that I could like be someone through it, you know what I mean? And use it in a certain way that made me not hate it. But yeah, I see people all the time where I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have that voice.
It looks like the last one we got here is that doing romance scenes is incredibly awkward.
I don't think I've ever had a romance scene of any kind. just like flirting, really.
I will say every kiss I've done, I did like the
do
like the
the
high
hand.
school like the little.
You gotta make out with your hand.
I'm not gonna make out with the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Losers make out with it.
I had a really uncomfortable situation once that was fine. But I was looping on a show, and one of the other loopers was a childhood friend's father, and we got paired together to have a romantic scene together. And we're in our own separate booths, so we're not even with each other. It's all vocal. It was only uncomfortable for the relationship of who this was to me. But you're a professional, and you just gotta do it.
That would be so weird.
Yep. And I was making out with the back of my hand. I just had to turn off my brain and be like, I don't know him.
You ever kiss your hand, Damien, in
In the booth? Oh, in the booth, yes.
Out of the booth?
Shelby, thank you so much for coming today. It's been great. No. In a booth, yeah. One of my first voice acting jobs was a short film that was like very serious, and it was like there was like a romance scene, and I was just sort of like, hey, I'm pretty new to this, and I know how to do most of this stuff, but what is kissing? No, but how do I do it in the booth? And I did have to make out with the hand, and it was interesting. So y'all, now we're gonna do a fun little voice acting exercise that has nothing to do with you actually acting with your voice. So we're going to rank these iconic anime lines from S all the way down to F.
Okay.
Number 1, I'm going to be the Pirate King by Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece.
Oh, come on. That feels like A or S. It's like one of the most iconic animes. It's
Let's
like
give it
in
an
every
A.
episode.
I'll give it A.
All right, starting high.
Yeah.
If either of you are not familiar with it, then I don't think it can be S. If there's any of these that any of us are not familiar with, I think it's disqualified from S.
And next up, I'll take a potato chip and eat it. That's Light Yagami from Death Note.
Is it said like that?
Oh, it's actually one of my favorite clips of all time.
If it's said like that, then another A, I think.
Yeah, it's A.
It's giving I drink your milkshake, and
is-
I really like that.
Yes.
What is he responding to? I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
He's talking about a plan for like secretly using the Death Note to make the world a better place without people noticing. So he's talking about hiding the book in a potato chip thing. So he's like, I'll do this and then I'll do it that. I'll write a name and then I'll take a potato chip and eat it. And then
Okay, that's
Yeah,
funny. It's
that
a
gets-
funny, it's a humorous
That gets an A.
next up, Believe It, Naruto.
Oh, S.
S.
That's it for me.
know it.
Oh, well then it has to be an A if you don't know it.
I'm doing a C because I don't like people telling me what to believe.
He does not believe in it.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
believe it. I'm believing anything. I'm believing you.
How about a B?
A B.
In the middle. All right. All right.
Okay, this is a longer one. In our society, those without power are left behind. That's Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan.
You showed me Attack on Titan.
Did I really?
You and Shane years
Yes,
ago.
when we were roomies,
Yeah.
I showed so many people that show.
They're the ones that have the creepy faces where they do the weird
Yeah.
like smile. Yeah. For the memes, that gets an A, but that's me personally.
I call it a C.
Yeah, I'm a C too.
I'm too positive.
It just wasn't funny.
If you don't believe in yourself, who will? That's from Misato Katsuragi from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
What was it again? If you,
Feeling
If you don't believe in yourself, who will?
RuPaul say that at the end of every drag race.
Oh, actually, also, our next one after that, also from Misato, is Sissy That Walk.
that's S tier.
Yeah, there you go. Push through the pain. Giving up hurts more. That's from Vegeta, Dragon Ball Z.
F.
F.
Wow, strong opinions on Vegeta.
Oh, do we not like Vegeta?
It's not who said it.
Yeah.
It's the quote.
Push through the
Through the
pain,
pain.
giving up hurts more.
Yeah, that's not true.
Give up.
What if he's talking
Yeah.
to a woman in labor?
Yeah. Well, you do have to push through.
Giving up wouldn't hurt. If she just midway out, she's just, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just gonna leave it there.
I'm just thinking of, like a trainer yelling that at me and then I would quit instantly. Like, no, I'm done.
It depends on
I'm
the
out.
The
context.
context probably is Vegeta and he's probably fighting someone and he's like, push through the pain.
Yeah, if this is like a training thing, F. If it's like a, don't give up, keep going.
I mean, those are the two things that happen in Dragon Ball Z, so take your pick.
I'll
All right.
live up to a D.
D.
Okay, D.
If someone says it's wrong to hope, I'll tell them they're wrong every time. That's from Madoka Kaname from Madoka Magica. Haven't
I
watched it.
like that one.
I like it too. It does sound like what someone would say right before they get beat up. like
feel like
right before a
For
fist
everything I
comes.
know about Madoka Magica, I've never seen it, but I'm like, that
It's
person
dark.
probably dies
that
immediately.
One I have seen. Yeah. And it's really cute, but it's really dark. What are you guys feeling?
Sure, let's give it an A.
I'll
A.
give it an A, but he's dead.
People die if they are killed. That's from Shiro Emiya in Fate Stay Night.
S.
That sounds
Yeah,
like a...
S tier to me.
Oh. I
Because
was gonna say, that sounds like a waste of screen time, that line.
it's
That's why.
That's why it's like one of my favorite movies is the live action Mario Brothers movie, and it's for that same reason I give this an S.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give it an S because you put it in that list. I like that movie a lot
Yeah.
too.
This one is It's a Terrible Day for Rain. That's Roy Mustang, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
What are we grading this on? If it's good, if that's a good
If
line.
it's a good iconic line.
Give us
Terrible.
3 reads of that line.
Okay, well, the actual context is, I believe they might be at a funeral or just saying goodbye to someone, and they're sort of like, "Are you crying?" And he's just like, "It's a terrible day for rain," trying to be like, "Oh, it must be raining." Like, I'm not crying, but like clearly he's holding back the.
Now say it how you would have on So Random.
What's up, guys? It's a terrible day for rain because Justin Bieber's here. Juggy Brodeltine is next.
That's so good.
I don't know, B? Not your performance. Your performance was an S.
That's fine. I wasn't trying.
yeah.
I'd say B.
Believe in the heart of the cards. That's from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
From Yu-Gi-Oh.
I knew that one. That one I knew. That is just a classic.
I kind of say it almost every day.
All this belief talk. Believe this. Believe you better than the greatest of the great. Believe it.
You got it. That's
Is
right.
anime? Is this a common theme in anime? They tell you what to believe.
A lot of the popular ones are shonen anime, meaning that they're like aimed toward young men or boys, and so it's just always like, you can do it, young man, superhero stuff. Anybody can like any anime, but that's the genre that's called, and that's what gets sort of popular.
We're in school right now. I love
your
this.
believe in your heart because you. What is it?
Believe in the heart of the cards.
And then he pulls out a, what is it, blue eyes, white dragon.
Dark magician.
Yeah. A for nostalgia, but down for whatever you guys.
It bores me.
It is a little like, yes, and I'll pull out the heart of 12s and you'll have an inceptible diamond.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Like, believe in the heart of the cards. I like it, though. My brother is one of those. And I have to in
card?
support of him.
He's an absolute card.
He's one of these with the die and the, yes, I have to, he had something he would say, believe in the heart of the cards.
I'll agree with a B. B.
Okay, B.
B tier. Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again.
S.
Or James. It destroys me.
Thank you so much.
Every time that's been going around lately is y'all and Amanda doing Jesse and James.
It was just on Smosh, and like we dress up as like Jesse, James, like oh we gotta get that Pikachu, and it got the little gas Bob. Like,
so good.
Sorry, but I literally had someone at the Ren Fair and be like, James, and I'm like, huh? And they're like, you're the James, and like that's what they recognize me from.
Incredible.
Amazing. S tier.
Yeah,
S tier.
Instant S.
100%. Oh my God, from Joseph Joestar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's just, oh my God.
Yes, but it's the Japanese dub, and he goes, oh my God!
I think that's an S then. A.
What is happening to them?
What's context?
He says it all the time. He's like an older man who was an adventurer in his younger days.
But
He's
is
from
he
New
like-
York, but he's in Japan.
Is he having flashbacks?
No, like something crazy is happening JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style, and he'll always be like, no! Oh my God! And then he'll just be like, holy shit. And he says like just a couple English phrases, and it's great.
A.
Hey.
I'm sorry we're so uneducated on anime. Like, you probably think we're unworthy to be voice actors.
No, if you had done like water, earth, fire, air, or if you had done
Wind, water, heart. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Hot. That would have been me. We all know it.
Go planet.
I will not apologize for being uneducated.
anime is a world I don't know as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's what, and I agree.
And that's all the cookie crumbles. And
all,
that's,
folks. That's from Magica Madoka. No.
hey,
I actually take lousy care of my voice. I started seeing Dr. Gupta, laryngology.
I was about to say,
She does all the stars. You know her, yeah?
I know of her.
Everyone
I know she's
knows
the one.
of her.
Do you know of her?
I know
Dr.
of
Gupta
her.
If you don't,
is
you're an asshole.
fantastic.
I know of her. I already said I know of her, Brandon.
Okay, I just wanted to get that bit in. I didn't realize that there was, I just thought your voice was this, but like there's
so
whole
much.
part of your body that you have to take care of than just your throat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so if you're sick, like you can sound like an entirely different person.
It's
just up in
true.
here.
I have a deviated septum that I will never get fixed because I'm scared it's going to change what my voice sounds like. Yeah. I'm like,
I think mine's getting worse though.
oh no.
Every year I think it's getting a little more a little more queer.
It's become a deviant septum.